This bitch.
Is there a story from your time in Ireland?
That was all the good stuff.
That especially deals with maybe a pet shop?
Yeah.
And a vet that you would like to tell us about?
There's some weirdness.
There's one in particular.
Wait, weirdness in you?
Where windows are involved?
Happens.
Where windows are involved?
Yes, so I worked at, I lived in Ireland for a couple years. I worked at a pet shop around Christmas time. Barry was the owner. Big, tall, very thick Irish accents and a little...
You're going to do the accents, right?
It just happens
yes!
when I talk about them.
All right, go ahead.
So Barry, fucking Barry. I got to precurse it with a couple small things. One day, I went up to the attic to get something, and Barry said, I came down and I said, Barry, there's a bunch of birds up in the attic. Like, what? They didn't have wings. And he goes, oh shit, Grace, the birds. The birds. Oh no, the birds. And he ran out of the room, and I was like, what's going on with the birds? And I followed him. He's just like, oh, I forgot we put the birds up there. And I was like, why? They don't have wings, Barry. He's like, we clipped them, so they can't get away. And I was like, they're in an attic. They're not going to get away.
And that's not how you clip a bird's wings.
No, he should not, first of all. I don't know who let him have the bird.
Or animals ever.
Right.
It was actually the cutest little pet shop ever, and I love it. It's in Ennis.
Just keep listening.
Ennis, Ireland. It's an amazing, cute place. I painted for them a bunch. He was a lovely guy, but this specific night was Little Shop of Horrors. So there's a queue out the door. It's Christmas Eve. There's a queue out the door, and Barry's like, Grace, mind the queue, mind the queue. So I'm popping around trying to help people, and this little old lady comes up to me and says, love, I hate to interrupt you, but the hamsters are after eating their own babies. And if you're after doing something, you've already done it. So I was like, oh no, the hamsters are after eating their own babies. What do I do? And I go and look, and the hamsters had babies, and they were gnawing on their brains. They weren't even like fully formed yet. They should have been separated. Somehow did not. It was overlooked. I don't know. So I went up to Barry, and I was just like, oh, Jesus.
Keep listening.
Barry, the hamsters are after eating their own babies. In the most American accent. He's like, oh, shit, Grace, the hamsters. I forgot about the hamsters. So he runs over, and he's just like, get as many out as you can. There's children here. We don't want them to see this. And so he gives me a Kleenex box. And I glove up, and I'm trying to get these little... is for children. Dead baby hamsters are also for children.
All right, continue.
Get one for Christmas.
In Ireland.
In Ireland only. So I put them into the box, and I was like almost vomiting the whole time. It was really sad. It was quite horrific. But there was one that was still kind of moving around and alive, and I was just like, I can save this one. So I was like, Barry, come back. There's this little... It's doing an army crawl, but half of its head is missing. But it was still moving, and I had...
You thought you could save it?
Just keep listening.
And I
Just keep listening.
So I called Barry back, and I was like, Barry, I tried to get all the hamsters out, but there's one that's alive, and he was just like, all right, give it to me. So, all right, here you go. And I continue, and then I go back, and I was like, where's that hamster that I gave you? Oh, shit, the hamster. And he starts looking around. He can't remember. I was like, Barry, is it still in your hand? Because he's like standing like this. And he's like, oh, yeah, there it is. And he opens it up, and it's like a bloody little half-alive baby hamster. And he's like, go to the vet next door. We'll sort it out. He'll sort it all out for you. And I was like, okay, you think he can help him? And there was a veterinary attached to the pet shop. So put him in some tissue.
I wonder
why. For these specific reasons that clearly happen daily.
He did damn good business.
Birds with their wings in the attic.
He knew.
Fucking brain heavy.
He knew the business he was running. So
anyway,
I take it in its little paper. And I go over to the clinic, and I was like, the hamsters were after eating their babies. Barry said to bring this one over. We might be able to save it. And it's a giant, big metal veterinary table. And he puts this tiny little hamster in the middle of it. And I was just like, oh, God, what's going to happen here? And I'm like kind of crying. And he was like, no, it's too far gone now. It's too far gone. I was like, oh, Jesus, are you going to have to like euthanize it or something? Open up that window, so Grace. And I was like, oh, what? Okay. And I opened the window. I thought he needed air. Fuck it out the window, so. He literally fucked it out the window. That's what he did with the baby hamster. I heard it splat, and I was just like, ooh. It was horrific. So I go back to Barry, and he's like, well, Grace, how'd things go? And I said, he fucked it out the window, Barry. Like, I was in shock. He fucked it out the window, Barry. Yeah, it was, and I went home that day and told my roommate, who was like, we're closing that shop down. It's been 20 years. We have to. It was horrific.
Us at two bearded guys do not condone animal violence or
Nor
mistreatment.
do I. I was crying the whole time.
Or
I did not know what to do.
Or mistreatment of any kind, but goddamn,
She
that
tried to
story's
save
funny.
it.
I tried to save
She
it.
tried so hard.
I nearly went outside and tried to find it, and I was just like, oh, God. It was not funny at the time, I'll tell you that much.
But it is now.
It is.
All right, anyway, do we have any comments or anything?
We do. So, Sid Binbeard joined us. He got the cry laugh emoji. Oh my god, this is the best story. And Beer Laugh Helen's got the emoji.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I am an animal advocate. If anybody's upset, I was too. I
got to know. Devil's advocate here, so.
This should be good.
Yeah, alright, so you open up the window, he fucked it out the window.
Fucked it out the window.
How big was the window? How far away was he from the window? Was that like a more impressive feat than it sounds?
It was about where the wall is here.
So about 5 feet? 5 to 6 feet? Yeah.
We were on the slab.
Window, it's only like,
It opened quite a bit.
Okay.
Actually, it was a...
She keeps going
She does, actually.
Swing open.
Noticed.
Okay.
So it was a full open.
Okay.
Sure, it was a full open now.
And so he
picked up the hamster,
that's kind of
and he
impressive.
fucked the hamster straight out the window. And I said, what do you like?
What do you like?
Hey, little Munchkin's joining us again.
Good night.
She missed
Night, sweetheart.
Hopefully you didn't hear that whole story.
Oh, it's this horrifying.
What do you want for Christmas?
I'm still stuck in the birds. Like, there's birds in the attics with no wings.
Okay.
There was another, oh my god, the bunnies.
What?
Did they not have ears?
Hold on.
He had a van
Hold
full.
on. Go.
He would take me in the van to like run errands around. We'd pick up.
Oh, I forgot about the bunnies. You've told me this
And
one too.
he was like, we need to go get rid of the garbage at the dump. So we put a bunch of bags in the back and we took it. And I opened up the back and I was like pulling stuff out and I was like, what's in these bottom bags that are squishy? And it was bunnies that had died at the pet shop.
What?
By natural causes, I'm sure.
Are we? Are we sure?
They had been there clearly a while. And I was like, Barry, there's bunnies in the back. Oh shit, I forgot about the bunnies. Every time. It was like a Father Ted episode. It was ridiculous. And he apparently had them in there a week ago. They'd been in there for a week. I don't know how we didn't smell them except there was a separator, but
Anything?
yeah, it was gruesome. That was fun.
I'm still stuck in the fucking birds.
Birds, Barry, they have no wings. Yeah.
And he just kept them there, and they had no wings, and he fed them.
What he had done was he had gotten them like 2 days before, so it wasn't super long.
Sure.
And he
Long enough to
had
clip their fucking
It was
wings?
like parrots. They had their wings clipped. He had a couple like bungees or whatever, and they were just sitting on perches up there in their cages. And there were like there was I think just one that was kind of flying around, feathers everywhere, shit everywhere. And he had put them up there to make room for them and forgotten.
Has this pet shop been shut down? Do we know?
Not to my knowledge. It's been there.
Well, we got something.
Why does this hip here like Helen just asked, what happened to this pet store?
Right.
And also, we got a very sharp-eyed watcher. Cindy was like, is that Taxman 401 cake?
Damn!
Wow. Yes.
We're about to talk about it.